Good afternoon, everybody. I think I should start the webinar. So I want to start by introducing myself. My name is Ahmed Mahmoud. I am a franchise consultant in scope management. We are a company who's working on development of franchises in the UAE, and we are accredited by the Franchise Association in UAE, Emirates Franchise Association. Um, uh, we work on two categories of regarding franchise. The first category is local Emirati brands that want to expand outside. So it's local brands that want to go to other markets, like the Philippines, like the GCC area, the Gulf area, or other Arab countries. The second category that we work with normally is international brands that want to enter the UAE market. We work with brands from Russia. We work with brands from Asia, and we help them to come to the UAE, give them advice on how to open, how to start, what's the steps, what's the necessary to come. I have been working as a franchise consultant for the last 5 years, and we were able to develop many brands, local brands that reached up to 25 locations outside the UAE, as well as brands that opened here in UAE from outside. So today I will be talking to you about how to enter the UAE market. So I'll divide my talk into three main lines. The first one is a general introduction about the franchise market in the UAE. The second is the legal aspects of entering the UAE market, and I'll leave it. The last part is the logistic part regarding entering the UAE as a brand or as a business. And at the end of my presentation, I will be waiting for all the participants to ask their questions in the Q&A you'll find in the bottom corner. So I'm expecting to have questions from all the participants. So I will start my presentation. So this presentation is a joint partnership between Emirates Association for Franchise Development, represented here by Ms. Salma Al-Mansouri, and Scope, which is represented by me, Ahmed Mahmoud. So franchising, normally the UAE is one of the first markets any franchise or international franchise want to test their branding or their products, especially Dubai, because it's an international city with multiple cultures. So especially in the GCC area, the Gulf area, or the Arabic countries area, and in the Asian market, they want to test their concepts and brands. And I think Dubai provides international culture that a lot of brands are looking for. So where their products can be sold for multiple people, because they have people coming from all over the world to that city. So the main or the biggest sector in franchising in the EU is the restaurant sector or the restaurant market, and is evaluated as 2.2 billion dirhams, and most of it is from America. So it's international brands like KFC, McDonald's, and all the American brands that is actually spread everywhere. Um, so how did franchising start in the UAE? So in the beginning in the UAE, in the early 60s and 70s, um, it was the construction boom. So buildings started, the oil was discovered, and um, there was a high need for a lot of services, products to be available in the country. And it started with, of course, Coca-Cola, KFC, and in the form of distribution franchise and business format franchise here in the UAE. And it became very clear that all the brands are coming, and it's becoming a global country. So that started. So the first franchises that opened in the UAE started around the 60s and the 70s. Nowadays, there's a huge companies, like very big. It's a phenomena, to be honest. It's companies that owns a lot of brands. One of them is the Shire collection or Shire group here in the UAE. So it's based in Dubai, and it's actually a Kuwaiti company, but it's based in Dubai. And they are in the field of um, retail, food and beverage, and service industry. So it has a lot of brands, international brands like Mother Care, Bath and Body, Starbucks, PF Chains. So it's these companies or these groups, um, they like to get the big brands, and they will um, collectively open them in shopping spots or shopping centers. Um, Mostly it's American, of course, American brands. Also, there's another group like this is a Zadia, which is which the owner of the rights of the franchising right for Zara, Pull&Bear, which is most mainly in the retail sector, and the Landmark Group, which is it's a Bahraini originally, but it moved its headquarters to Dubai, and is the owner of the Baby Shop and Max and Fitness First. So owner is managing multiple brands also. Um, uh, Fotem Group is a local UAE local company that owns franchises in the UAE and in Asia. Um, this means it's owning in the UAE. It owns the rights for IKEA, Marks and Spencer, Ace, and Carrefour. At the same time, it's owning these rights in different parts of Asia, like Malaysia, and having um, different brands, even brands from that's UAE corporations or big companies. Even if they don't find a franchise opportunity to open in UAE, they will open it somewhere else. For example, a Fotem Group cannot open um, Starbucks in UAE because it's taken by a Shire Group. That's why it opened. It took the rights for Starbucks in Malaysia. So these big corporations are the main base for the market or the franchise market, and they are the ones who uh, making the wheel turn in the market in terms of franchising. So regarding the first topic I'm going to talk about is the law. So in the UAE, there is no franchising law. There is no specific law that regulate the franchising. And this this is not something strange. It's something usual. Uh, Most of the Arab countries do not have law for franchising. The United Kingdom, UK, do not have a franchise law, and this is mainly for not to complicate the franchising business, allowing for easier uh, transaction or commercial transaction, uh, and at the same time not putting too much regulations that will affect the franchising or franchising business. So how is it managed in terms of law? The franchising falls in the jurisdiction of the commercial law, the intellectual property law. It falls in um, it, the civil transactions, um, local municipality rules, and commercial companies, the law regarding commercial companies. So there's multiple of laws that actually interject with the activities of franchising. So in terms of registration of the companies, the company needs to follow the commercial company law. In terms of civil transaction, that means the contracts between the franchisee and franchisor. Of course, the intellectual property for trademarks and copyrights and patents, that's the one that will be regarding the trademarks and protecting the ownership of the trademarks, whether it's from a board or uh, uh, local. And the municipality rules is just regulating um, uh, the local, um, we can say in terms of safety, in terms of following the regulations to be up to the standards of the country. So instead of having a franchising law, we look at different, like the commercial agency law, which plays a big part, which is the first one here in the list, which plays a huge part in franchising. Commercial agencies, the difference between franchise and commercial agency. Franchise, of course, there's a franchisor, there's a franchisee, and according to a contract between them, and the franchisee will be able to use the trademark, the products, the manufacturing process, or the way of business from the franchisor, and it will be that's a different to the commercial agency. The commercial agency is they are given the right of distribution from the owner of the company. So it's not the same relationship. It's a totally different relationship. But in the UAE law, franchisees or franchises fall under this jurisdiction of commercial agency. So you understand what are the kind of specific things regarding the franchise registration under the UAE commercial law. So there's some criteria that needs to be met to register under the commercial agency law. So the franchisor must be a UAE national or an entity owned by a UAE national. That's the difference. So that's the difference between it and the franchising. So when a franchise registers under the commercial law, this means the franchisor or the franchise needs to be a local entity. A local entity means to be opened here. So they have to open a branch here, not a franchise, a branch. So the main franchisor will have to come open a company and opening a company means this company became registered in the Ministry of Economy under foreign companies, and then it can actually um, franchise his business. But this in because there is no law for franchising, a lot of franchisors and franchisees do not follow this way. They follow a different way, which I will be discussing with you in a bit. Um, so when you register as a commercial agency, so you go to the ministry and you say, I want to register as a commercial agency, or you fill up the papers in the form. Some big franchisors, they prefer this way um, because it helps them uh, to uh, uh, to have a huger protection by the government in terms of um, um, termination of contracts. So the agreement cannot be terminated by the franchisor. It's mainly protecting the franchisees, the local franchisees. So if a local Emirati, he want to buy a franchise or a brand from abroad, and he wishes to register it as a commercial agency, the government will be standing, or the law will be standing in his side. This means the franchisors cannot terminate his contract without justification, without giving, providing it in the legal way. So, so it's mainly for the protection of the local or the franchisee who will take the franchise right from the franchisor in terms of from Philippines or from Asia or from anywhere. As franchisors generally consider it's not best not to register their agreements in terms of under commercial law, and uh, because the commercial law defines the framework of the agency, and the franchise does not work as an agency in these terms. So um, I want to also talk to you about what is like generally what's the first step uh, you should take to enter the market. So uh, you as I advise any franchisor is very important that you visit UAE and you see what competitors are doing here in the UAE in terms of your business. If you are food and beverage, if you are retail, if you are service industry. So whenever you need to visit the UAE, so you understand the market a little bit. Um, that's the first step. Second step will be is to register your trademark with the Ministry of Economy. So to registering the trademark is one of the most important things to do to protect your trademark and ensure that nobody copies it and is protected under the law. The second step would be, of course, finding a franchisee. The franchisee can be a person, can be one of the companies I showed you in the beginning, if you have a big business. And it can be a group of companies, but preferably it should not be a person. It should be a, a company or a group of companies or a corporation where they have multiple brands, not one brand. So this helps in the access of locations for your franchise. It helps in the access to reach the audience or the customers you need, and it helps regarding the knowledge about the country and um, and the local market. So, as this step is to find a franchisee is a step that every franchisor from abroad should be very careful regarding this one, because if you enter with the um, wrong or unexperienced franchisee, you will not be very successful here in the UAE. As a third step is once you find your franchisee, you did your diligence, you tested them, you saw that they are qualified to be a franchisee. In that time, you should give them the right, sign the contract, ensure the contract is um, covers, of course, from franchise development side, which is the writing the contract, franchise contract. It should be written considering the law in the UAE, the agency law, the intellectual property law, all the laws I mentioned uh, this previous slide should be considered um, in your contract. At the same time, you should go to the Ministry of Economics again and give the franchisee the right of use of the trademark. So that's how you can officially give them the right to use your trademark, and this is normally you give the right for 10 years, and according to the trademark law, and you give them the right of use for 10 years, and of course then from a law side it will be or a law side or registration side will be finished. One last note on the commercial law or um, uh, the law side is the language of the agreement. Always in the UAE, they will ask all agreements or contracts to be in Arabic language. And that means all the contracts should be translated into the Arabic language and notarized in a public notary or legal translator. So that's something a lot of franchises have a problem with, because they don't understand. They when coming here, the final signature by the public notary or by the Ministry of Economy, it has to be on a translated copy of the agreement, not the actual agreement, whether it's in English or any other language. So, so far I talked about the low side, and also I want to briefly discuss the logistics side. So the logistics is um, once you finish the contract side, then the franchisee will start building the place according to the design specifics, or whether you provide them with a site plan or you provide them with a specific layout for the shop or the restaurant. Um, the franchisee will start working towards that. It depends on actually this depends on each case by itself. So some franchisors, they would like to import or so import into the UAE their items or their products, and that's the part what I want to talk to about is UAE doesn't have a very low taxation. It's a very low taxation country. It's only the VAT is 5%, and the customs fees on products is also 5%. So you should expect to have to pay whenever you are exporting something into the UAE, or you're bringing products from your country to UAE, that's the fees that you're gonna be paying, or taxation. 5% for custom, 5% for VAT, and um, that's the main part, and that should be always considered in all calculations, because we do have issues in this one, that they are expecting not who will be paying it, so always should be in the contract very clearly from the beginning, in these terms. In terms of other logistics, UAE is very modernized, and have a very modernized transport systems, have a very modernized industries. So you will not have any issues in terms of uh, uh, logistics issue. But the main advice is whatever can be constructed or manufactured or done here in UAE is preferred for cost reduction. And in this way, what I mean to say is, in terms of products, if you are a restaurant, for example, it's a lot preferred not to have a lot of imported products, and for the franchisee to find local suppliers. So the supplies should come from in the country. That's a huge cost reducer, and at the same time, it can, if you are in the retail industry, during the construction phase, or if you are, the franchisee should be able to construct the place or build the place from the resources available in the country, not to have everything importing from outside, because this will have increased the cost, mainly in transportation, and that's the main issues with logistics. But other than this, the UAE is a very advanced country in terms of transportation and logistics. So I think I've concluded my presentation, and I will be waiting for the questions from the audience side, because I want to understand the audience, what they want to know. So I'm opening the floor for any questions through the Q&A. So I'll be opening the Q&A and waiting for your questions. Also, with us is Selma Al-Mansouri, she's the head of the Emirates Franchise Association in UAE, and she will help me to answer any questions by the audience. To open the chat. Are the participants allowed to send questions? Because nobody.
Ahmed, I want to ask you something. I want to give him more covering information about what are you doing with the local brand to be translate for the franchise models in the United Arab Emirates, and also if one brand coming for outside United Arab Emirates, what exactly can help him to do to enter for the UAE marketing?
Okay, so the local brands, we work as a scope management consultancy. We work on developing them. In terms of having a franchise structure and developing their internal procedures and processes to be able to be more systemic, to become a
For example,
cooperation.
Ahmed, what exactly do you make the legal agreement and also to the
Yes,
disclosure document? And can you give him the example for them for this?
yes. Okay, so in these terms, as I was saying, it's we work on developing the interior processes within the franchise, the business processes. We work on making franchise agreements, regardless whether they want to expand in Arab countries or in the Asia Pacific. And we help them also with having the right documentation in terms of disclosure documents and in terms of accounting, in terms of accounting, to have some countries they ask for accounting disclosure. So also we help with that. Mainly we work with businesses that are moving from UAE to outside. Also, regarding the businesses that are coming into UAE, we help them in finding franchises. We help them in registration of their company here in the UAE. Also, we help them in finding locations, suitable location for their business to open. And we work with them to ensure they are uh, uh, working according to the law of UAE. Uh, so I found one question. May I ask if there is a market for franchise hair salon in the UAE targeting women and the class mass market? Yes, there is a market for this, and already there's a franchise, a lot of franchise salons and hair salons and beauty centers, and it's already spread throughout UAE. The market for it is also one of the most promising markets for this one. The best example of this is called one company is called Bidachi, and it's a hair salon, and they were able to open as a franchise, multiple locations here in the UAE, and at the end they got bought by one of the royal family. So there is a huge market for hair salons here in the UAE. If you are bringing something new, new marketing strategy, new way of doing business, it's I think it's a very good to explore. First, explore, come to the UAE, see how your business will play out. Visit some of the hair salons here in the UAE, the ones with frequent customers, and like this. If you have more questions, I'll be happy to answer. So if there's no more questions, I was been asked to end the session, and I would like to thank APFC for this opportunity, and I would like to think there's another open question. Yes. No. Okay. Questions are coming finally. Yes. Okay. There is Monica. There is some elderly welfare companies in the UAE, and because of the culture in the UAE, elderly people do not go to centers, unlike America and European countries. But mostly it's focused about home care. So elderly home care. So there will be like services where people go to your house, took care of the elderly in the house. For K JK Foods Shine. Um, for Asian people, I would like to know, is Asian people hard to enter the EU market? Um, uh, no, it's not hard at all for Asian to enter the market in UAE. The population of Asians oversee the population of locals. When I say Asians, I mean Philippines, India, uh, Pakistan. So the Asian countries in general oversees the local population. So um, it's uh, it's it's not difficult for or hard to. We here in UAE there is a lot of areas they just Asian areas, but at the same time, and the amount or the number of businesses owned by Asian people is very high. So there's no difficulty. And if you are selling Taiwanese ice, and it's just to us about who's your customer. So you need to come, or you need to see the profile or a general outlook on the market for Taiwanese ice. So in these terms, this depends on your business, to be honest, but I don't think it's difficult for Asian people. Okay. So
I have another question for you.
I would I have multiple questions. I want to
Okay.
like this. I would like to ask if there is a market for Islamic pawn shop. Um, I'm not sure about the law regarding pawn shops, but um, there is no, as I know, there's no pawn shop in UAE where you can replace products. So I give one product, you give me another product. The UAE is filled with full of this discount market, which is that's discount or gift markets, but there is no Islamic pawn shop. Okay. Okay. Do you think the potential for elderly warfare? There is a potential, but it has to be uh, uh, um, the business concept should be adjusted to the standards of UAE. So because this is regarding culture, the culture generally the family takes care of the elderly, but they need um, they can use help from nurses or home care people to help ensure the elderly is living in a well status. But to have centers and like in America and the rest of the world is cultural wise is very difficult. Okay, I will send you my email, and also I believe uh, and this is our general in our social media details and our email, so you can get in contact with us. Uh, Lydia, I think yes. Yes, yes, yes. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for your presentation. I would like to know that if franchisees want to register the agreement, is there any protection for the franchisor from there is controversies? What can we do to protect our own rights? Thank you. The best way to protect your own right and always be in the strong side as a franchisor coming to the UAE is to register your trademark. So you got trademark protection, and to have through the Ministry of Economics to have to give the right of use of trademark to franchisees. So these ones can protect you from your trademark being under your control. This is a good protection. If the agreement is not registered, um, uh, of course, yeah, what as my presentation now that most franchisors prefer not to register their agreements uh, here in the UAE. There will be still protection under the civil law. So the civil law um, allows for any two entities or two individuals to have a contract between each other, and this is where your rights will be protected, but it will go through the legal procedure where it will go whether for um, uh, conflict resolution or via court. But that's how you can protect your rights. But even if the contract is not registered, but is signed by both parties, signed, stamped, and witnessed by the national notary, uh, it can also be enough for protecting your right, but you will have to go through the legal process or the whether it's court or dispute resolution. Is the franchise agreement applicable for the whole UAE or per Emirat? Um, this depends on your franchise agreement or the agreement between you and the franchisee. So if this is in the contract, there will be written the territory. So the territory is the um, the actual the protected territory. So it's the actual location of the franchise. Some people, franchisors, they give you a territory only 5 kilometers from all directions from the shop. So if my shop is in point A, around it 5 kilometer, this is only for this contract. And some people give cities, some people give Emirates, some people give the whole UAE. So it depends on what you're agreeing with and what type of contract you are signing with the other party. In because UAE doesn't have law, in Saudi Arabia they have this law where um, it has to be 5 kilometers in all directions from the point of the shop or the point of the franchise location. Okay, his desires and shape as product property. Yes, it is popular in the UAE. Desserts, shaved ice. You can find it in most of shopping centers. You can find it in main streets, and um, people like Baskin Robbins, Dunkin' Donuts, all the dessert spots is pretty famous here. Uh, One of our products is walk-in bathtub. I think it's okay if it's marketed the right way. So it will be good depending on how you market it here in the country, or your franchisee is able to market it in the country. Because whether you gonna be the one marketing your product or the franchisee will. But uh, a product like this has to be tested in the market because maybe it's unfamiliar to the people, like a bathtub, walk-in bathtub. So um, it has to be really tested. There for food and beverage sector, can the raw materials be found easily all the time? Expensive? In UAE, there is a huge supplier base. So in terms of food and beverage, I think you can. I worked with a lot of restaurants, and you can find all types of products, starting from Japanese products. You can start find Filipinese products. You can find products from all over the world in with suppliers here, like big company suppliers like Chef Middle East, Fresh Express. There's a huge companies that are able to supply all kinds of things, starting from meats to pottery and all of it. And regarding the expensive, it depends. It depends on the product, to be honest. Um, and it's no difference than the international price in most of the countries. There is multiple shops I saw, but I'm not very sure if this is very popular, the bubble milk tea shop. May I ask the financial you're using conventional financial or more to Islamic financial? Um, the UAE uses like a depends on it's using a normal finance system. So whatever finance system you can find in most of the countries, you can find it here. And some banks are using the Islamic financial. So depending on the bank at the same time. But as a whole system, you can find different ones. Also in Dubai, you can find um, different jurisdictions in Dubai that follow different financial laws. But it's mostly in the UAE is just conventional finance that being used. So I think I answered. Okay, will the import tax on the 5% VAT and 5% customs. That's the import. So you pay 5% for the tax, 5% for the customs. I think I answered all the questions so far. Selma, do you have any more questions or something?
No, thank you, Ahmed. You're covering all.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I would like to thank APFC for this opportunity, and I hope I see you again. Um, uh, and uh, uh, if anybody have a question, you can contact me as at info@coopconsult or at any messaging through our social media. And thank you very much. Thank you, Jonah. Thank you.